Hello everyone, welcome to the e-learning program of KTGM College Nasik. I am Dr. M.K. Devre from Department of Physics, KTGM College Nasik. Dear friends, in this lecture we are going to see the 8th and the ninth unit of the second chapter. The 8th unit is the characterization techniques, in which we are going to see the introduction of different characterization techniques, and in ninth unit we are going to see the thermal gravimetric analysis, that is the TGA. Now first we are going to see the introduction of the different characterization techniques. Friends, we are using the different types of the material for the different applications in a different environmental conditions. So we should know that which type of the materials can withstand for the particular applications in a particular environment, and that information can be obtained by using the different characterization techniques. And also for the different applications we should know the different properties of the material, such as the electrical, mechanical, chemical and thermal and the optical properties. Such a properties can be studied by using the different characterization techniques. And also we should know about the understanding of the atomic and the molecular structure of the material, the nature of the chemical bonding, the imperfection in the solid, the impurity present in the material, and the information about the chemical compositions. Hence, the characterization techniques having the very vital role for understanding such a types of that the parameters about the any type of that the material or the chemicals. Hence, it is necessary to know the complete knowledge of the different types of the spectroscopy, and also the techniques for the qualitative and the quantitative analysis of the materials. Nowadays, the researchers are use such a type of the different characteristics techniques to study the different properties of the materials and the chemicals in the solid state physics, in the material science and in the chemistry. Now before to study the different characteristics of the different characterization techniques, you should know about what do you mean by the qualitative and the quantitative analysis. Now one of the popular experiment is when the sodium chloride solution introduced on the flame of the Bunsen burner, then we observe the yellow color flame. If we observe this yellow color through the spectroscopy and the grating, now then we observe the two prominent lines of the wavelength 5890 angstrom unit and 5860 angstrom unit. So by using such a type of the observation in the spectroscopy, we can do the analysis of the material regarding with the qualitative and the quantitative analysis. So you should know what do you mean by the qualitative analysis and what do you mean by the quantitative analysis. So with the help of the spectroscopy, we can measure the wavelength and the intensity. Then what do you mean by the qualitative analysis? Now it is possible to identify the material by measuring the wavelength of the light. Then it is the qualitative analysis by the emission spectroscopy. Thus a qualitative analysis determines the presence or the absence of a particular compound, but not the mass of the concentrations. So by measuring the wavelength of the emission radiation by using the spectroscopy, we can do the qualitative analysis. While in case of the quantitative analysis, by measuring the intensity of the spectral lines, it is possible to find the amount of the substance producing these lines. And it is the quantitative analysis by the emission spectroscopy. Thus, a quantitative analysis is the measurement of the quantities of the particular chemical constituent present in a substance. So by using such a type of the experiment of the sodium chloride when introduced on a Bunsen burner, we can do the qualitative and the quantitative analysis by measuring the wavelength and the intensity of the emission radiations. Now there are the different methods are available of the characterization techniques. The first is the conventional chemical method. Friends, you are using the conventional chemical methods in our regular practicals in a laboratory, such as the chemical test, the flame test, volumetric analysis and the gravimetric analysis. But now here we are not going to see in details about this conventional chemicals method. You should know which type of the conventional chemicals methods only. The second is the microscopic techniques. The microscopic is a category of the characterization techniques which analyze and map the surface and subsurface structure of the material. Now the students, you have already used the microscopic, and by using the microscopic techniques, we can analyze and map the surface and the subsurface structure of the materials. Now in these techniques, we can use the photons, electrons and ions to gather the data about a sample's structure on a range of the length of the scales. So with the help of now in this in the microscopic techniques, it can use the photons, electrons and ions to gather the data about the sample structures. Now there are the different types of the microscopic techniques are available. The first one is the optical microscope, second one is the transmission electron microscope, TEM, the scanning electron microscope, STM, atomic force microscope, AFM, scanning electron microscope, SEM, the field ion microscope, FIM, the scanning probe microscope, SPM, X-ray diffraction topography, that is XRT. But now in our syllabus we are going to see only the scanning tunneling microscope, that is STM, and the scanning electron microscope, that is same. Now third one is the spectroscopy. Now spectroscopy is the study of the interaction between the electromagnetic radiation and the matter. The spectroscopic work on the principle of the interaction between the electromagnetic radiations and the matters. Now the matter, it may be the atoms, the molecules, or the ions. And in this technique, the sample is stimulated by applying the energy in the form of the heat, the electrical energy, the light, the particles, or the any chemical reactions. Now there are the different types of the spectroscopic characterization techniques are available, and they are classified according the type of the radiations. Now such as the optical radiation, the X-ray radiation, the mass spectrometry, and the nuclear spectrometry. Now these group of the techniques use a range of the principle to tell us the chemical composition variations, the crystal structure, and the photoelectric properties of the material. So by using the spectroscopic type of the techniques, we can determine the chemical composition, the composition variations, the crystal structure, and the photoelectric properties of the material. Now then, first one is the optical radiations. The spectrochemical method is the type of the optical radiation. The spectrochemical methods provide the most widely used tools for the elucidation of the molecular structure as well as the quantitative and the qualitative determination of both organic and the inorganic compounds. Again, there are the different types of the spectrochemical methods are available. The first one is the ultraviolet visible spectroscopy. It is also known as the UV visible spectroscopy. Second one is the Fourier transformation infrared spectroscopy, that is FTIR, and third one is the fluorescence analysis. Now it again get classified into the two types, the thermoluminescence and the photoluminescence. Now but our syllabus having only the ultraviolet visible spectroscopy and the fluorescence analysis. So we are going to see only the ultraviolet visible spectroscopy and the photoluminescence or the fluorescence analysis. Now then, in case of that, the ultraviolet visible spectroscopy. The ultraviolet visible spectroscopy is used to obtain the absorbance spectra of a compound in the solution or as a solids. Now it is used, now this type of the technique is used to study the absorption spectra of any compound in a solutions or in a solid. Now ultraviolet visible spectroscopy refers to the absorption spectroscopy or the reflectance spectroscopy in the part of the ultraviolet and the adjacent visible spectral region. So it is now this type of the technique is used only in these two regions, that is ultraviolet region and in the visible spectral regions. Now then, next one is the fluorescence analysis. Now the fluorescence analysis is the technique used to study the fluorescence properties of the materials. The fluorescence analysis in which there is the photoluminescence, and the photoluminescence is the type of the luminescence. Then you should know what to mean by the luminescence. And electrons absorb the photons from the incident beam and it jumps from the valence band to the conduction band. Thus, this electron is in the excited state or the higher state, but it no longer be in the higher state and eventually get back into the lower energy state by emitting the radiations. So student, when the electrons in the ground state, when it excited by the using a suitable type of the radiation, then it goes to the excited state or the higher energy state, but it will not no stay there for a longer durations of the time. It comes to the ground state, and during that the transitions it emits the radiation, and that radiation can be studied with the help of the fluorescence analysis. So in this process, the emitting radiations arises due to the absorptions of the photon from the sources such as the infrared, the visible, the ultraviolet, or the X-ray photon. X-rays are used. Such a type of that the sources are used into now in this process. The photoluminescence is now in this phenomena. The emission of the light by the material after absorbing such a type of that the energy is known as the luminescence, and as in such a type of that the process is known as the luminescence. That photoluminescence is divided into the two parts are known as the fluorescence and the phosphorescence. Now then, what do you mean by the fluorescence and the phosphorescence? Now, in a fluorescence, if a material absorbs the light from the infrared, visible radiations, ultraviolet, or the X-ray radiation sources, and it radiates or the emits the light within the 10 raised to minus 8 second, and after the excitation is removed, then such a type of that the luminescence is known as the fluorescence. So now in this case here, now see here in this figure, by using such a type of that the incident radiation such as the IR, visible, or the UV, or the X-ray, when incident on that the electrons which are in the ground state, then it goes to in the excited state, then it will not stay longer there. It will stay only for the 10 raised to minus 8 second. After that it comes to the ground state, and during that there is the emission. Then during that the transition, the electrons emits the radiations, and such a type of that the radiation is known as the fluorescence type of that radiations, and this is also known as the fast photoluminescence. Now in this case here, when the any material, in case of that some materials, when the incident radiations incident on it, now then it will start glowing or it will start the shining here, and such a type of that the materials having the fluorescence property. Now take an example. So the jellyfish is now jellyfish in when it comes in contact with such a type of that the radiation, then it will start glowing. The another is the phosphorescence. Now in case of that the phosphorescence, or the certain materials emit the light after the incident radiation is cut off, and this process is known as the phosphorescence. That means when the electrons goes to the excited higher energy state or the excited state, that it will not directly comes to the ground state. It will take some times, and after that it comes to that the ground state. The time delay between the excitation of that the electrons and the emission of that the light from 10 raised to minus 8 second to the several minutes or the hours or even the days here. And after that when it comes to the ground state, that times it emits the radiations, and such a type of that the radiations or the emission are known as the phosphorescence. That means after the some interval of that the time when the electron goes to the ground state, it will not come immediately to the ground state. It has taken some times, and after that when it comes to the ground state, there is the during the transition there is the emission, and such a type of that the emissions known as the phosphorescence. Now there are the number of examples. Take an example of the watch or that the uh, clock on the wall. We can see it is glowing even in the night also. It is due to that the fluorescence material is coated there. Now take one of that the example is the radium plates. Those are sticked on the any vehicles. Then during that the night, they are glowing. They are such a type of that the example are the phosphorus types of that material. So by using the fluorescence analysis, we can study the fluorescence properties of the different materials, of the fluorescence materials. Now the next one is the X-ray radiations. In the second chapter we have already studied about the X-ray diffraction. Now in case of the X-ray radiation technique, in type of such a techniques, we are the X-ray type of the radiations are used. There are again the different types of the X-ray radiation techniques are available. The X-ray diffraction, that is known as the XRD, the small angle X-ray scattering, the energy dispersive X-ray spectroscopy, the wavelength dispersive X-ray spectroscopy, the electron energy loss spectroscopy, the X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, over electron spectroscopy, X-ray photon correlation spectroscopy. But in our syllabus only the X-ray diffraction is given, so we are going to see only the X-ray diffraction of the XRD. The X-ray diffraction, in a second chapter we have already studied about the X-ray diffraction techniques. The X-ray diffraction is we know that the X-ray diffraction is a very powerful non-destructive techniques. It is used for the characterization of the crystalline materials. Now the XRD provides the information on the structures, the phases, preferred crystal orientations, and other structural parameters such as the average grain size, the crystallinity, the strain, and the crystal defects. Next one is the mass spectrometry. Mass spectrometry is used for the measurement of the mass to the charge ratio of the molecules using the electrons and the magnetic fields. Now there are the different types of the mass spectrometry are available. The electron ionization, the thermal ionization mass spectrometry, the secondary ion mass spectrometry. Now here this is one of the type of the mass spectrometry. Now it consists of the ionization chamber here, the mass analyzer, and here this is the mass detector. Now from this the ionization chambers, it emits the ions, now having the different masses. Now then these ions of the different masses are separated by using the mass analyzer, or it is also known as the mass separation, and the ions of the different masses can be analyzed by using can be analyzed or can be detected by using this detector. Now this is the very sensitive type of the techniques, and it is used basically to measure the mass to the charge ratio of the molecules using the electric and the magnetic fields. The next one is the nuclear spectrometry. Now in this case here, the nuclear radiations are used. Now these are again the nuclear spectroscopy, in which the different techniques are available: the nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, NMR, the Mossop-Bohr spectroscopy, and perturbed angular correlations, that is the PAC. The last one is that fourth is the macroscopic techniques. Now there are the huge range of the techniques are used to characterize the various macroscopic properties of the materials, including the mechanical testing and the thermal analysis techniques. The mechanical testings are used to study the compressive, the torsional, creep, fatigue, and the toughness of the different materials. But now here we are going to see only in details about the thermal analysis techniques. Now thermal analysis is a branch of the material science where the properties of the materials are studied as they changes with the temperatures. So the thermal analysis is nothing but the temperature related analysis. And when the matter is heated, it undergoes the certain physical and the chemical changes. We know that when any substance get heated, there is change in its the physical and the chemical properties. Then what do you mean by the physical changes and what do you mean by the chemical changes? The physical changes include the phase changes such as the melting of the material, the vaporization, the crystallization, the transition between the crystal structure, change in the microstructure in the metal, alloys and the polymers. Now there is the change in the volume and also there is the change in the mechanical behavior. So such all these can be studied in a physical changes here. But now in case of that the chemical changes, it includes the reactions to form the new products, the oxidation, the corrosion, the decomposition, the dehydration, chemisorption, and such, and all these are changes can be studied in a chemical change. Now then, why the materials thermal characterizations is the necessary? We know that there are the wide number of the materials, and these different materials are used over the wide range of the temperatures from cold to the hot in corrosive environment, the variable humidity and under the different load conditions. That means we are using the different materials for the different applications in a different environments. The environment, it may be from the cold to the, it may be the varies from cold to the hot. In that environment, is it the corrosive? Is there the humidity is present? Is the material used under the any stress? So it is necessary to characterize the materials and their behavior over a range of temperature to determine what materials are suitable for the specific use, and to determine what temperature range of the materials or the chemical can withstand without changing its properties. Therefore, this sort of the information is used to predict the safe operating conditions for the product, such as which type of the tire material is best for the vehicles in the extremely cold or the extremely hot climate, the average expected lifetime of the materials such as the paints and the polymers exposed to the temperature changes here. So for the particular material, so for the application of the particular material in a particular environment, you should know the the thermal, you should know the you should know the thermal properties of that the materials, and that thermal properties of the material can be studied with the help of the thermal analysis. Now there are the different thermal analysis techniques are available nowadays. The differential thermal analysis known as the DTA, the dielectric thermal analysis, the thermogravimetric analysis, the differential scanning calorimeter, impulse excitation techniques, and ultrasound techniques. Now these are different thermal analysis. Now in these different thermal analysis, now the different properties of the materials are determined or measured. Now in a differential thermal analysis technique, the temperature difference is measured. In a differential scanning calorimetry, the enthalpy is measured. In a thermogravimetric analysis, the change in the masses related to that the different temperatures can be measured. In a dynamic mechanical analysis, the deformation of the materials are determined. In a dielectric thermal analysis, deformation is determined. The evolved gas analysis, the gases decompositions are considered. Thermo-optical analysis, the optical properties are to be considered. But now in our syllabus only the the thermogravimetric analysis is included, and so we are going to see in details about the TGA or the thermogravimetric analysis, in which the change in mass related with the change in temperature is to be considered or is to be measured.